for this particular CRP on agriculture for nutrition and health. The original parent, when the planning started, Farid Walia, like any other male animal, contributed and left. Then we had Dr. Oscar Riera Lizarazu, who took care of the birth, and he also left. So I was left with holding the baby. So I am the foster parent. After Oscar left in June last year, I was given the responsibility of being the focal person for the CJ research program on agriculture for nutrition and health. So whatever I am going to give you is what I know. And if there is anything more, Farid will answer, because the genes are there. For this CRP on agriculture for nutrition and health, A4NH is the acronym for this particular CRP. The lead center is IFPRI, and the participating centers are listed here. Apart from ICRISAT, there are 7 other centers who are involved. The effective date is January 2012, which means we have completed an year of its implementation, although the program participant agreement, that was PPA, was signed only on 30th of June 2012, but the CRP became effective January 2012. The premise on which this CRP started was in terms of its aim to fill the existing gap between agricultural development and its unfulfilled health and nutritional benefits. When Mark Winslow asked me that question, what is the nutritional benefit? Why are we not mentioning it in the legumes? Not that it is mentioned here, I forgot to mention it there, but CRP on nutrition and health is the one that looks at some of the aspects. So they expect, at least this particular CRP expects, that the other crop related CRPs will be developing crop varieties with enhanced nutritional levels, and the testing and other aspects will be part of this particular CRP. It is expected that some of the agricultural practices, some of the interventions, and the policies can be better adapted to maximize the health and nutritional benefits and reduce the health risks. So that was the premise on which the CRP was initiated. So many of you may be wondering, what are those interventions, policies that can affect? For example, if there are diseases that happen because of agriculture, like tick-borne diseases, malaria, for example, if agricultural intensification in some areas enhances the population of mosquitoes and causes more malaria, that is an agriculturally induced disease. So, for example, aflatoxin in maize and groundnut, that is an area of concern to A4NH. I just gave you a few examples. The CRP on A4NH has 4 themes. If you saw in the other 2 CRPs that we are leading, we call them strategic components. Here, they call them research themes. There are 4 research themes. The first one is called value chains for enhanced nutrition, looking at the whole value chain aspects that affects nutrition. Theme 2 is looking at biofortification, enhanced levels of minerals and other nutrition areas. Third looks at the prevention and control of agriculture-associated diseases. In abbreviation for this is AADs, because this may come up in my next few slides, so I'm just indicating that AAD refers to agriculture-associated diseases. The 4th theme is looking at the integrated agriculture, nutrition, and health programs and policies, so mostly looking at the areas of policy interventions and others. Among these 4 themes, ICRISAT scientists are involved in themes 1 to 3. There are 6 research objectives under A4NH. The first one looking at technologies to improve nutritional quality and safety of foods along the value chain. That addresses the themes, the 4 themes I mentioned. It addresses themes 1 to 3. Objective 2 looks at biofortified and nutrient-rich foods that are affordable and accessible to the poor, looking at themes 1 and 2. Third objective looks at technologies for the control of zoonotic, foodborne, and waterborne, also occupational diseases, mostly on theme 3, that is agriculture-associated diseases. In terms of the research objectives, the remaining 3 are here. Improved effectiveness and efficiency of surveillance monitoring systems of multi-sectoral programs and policies, looking at all the 4 themes. Assessing nutritional and health burdens and benefits of several agricultural interventions, again addressing all the 4 themes. The last one looking at assessment, documentation, and testing of agricultural options that can enhance nutrition and health benefits and also mitigate the risks of agricultural intensification, that addresses themes 1 and 3. In terms of the ICRISAT's involvement under A4NH, under the 3 themes, theme 1 on value chains for enhanced nutrition, theme 2 on biofortification, and theme 3 on prevention and control of agricultural-associated diseases. I've indicated on the right-hand side that in theme 1, we have 1 research activity that is funded by the McKnight Foundation, and it is being implemented in Malawi and Tanzania by our team based in Chiteze in Malawi. Theme 2 addresses 4 research activities, and the funding source for this is Harvest Plus. The target countries are in Western Central Africa and in India. Theme 3 also has 4 activities. The funding source for this is Windows 1 and 2, and the target countries are Western Central Africa, Eastern Southern Africa, and South Asia. So I will just give you briefly what are these activities. Theme 1, looking at value chains for enhanced nutrition, the one being implemented in Eastern and Southern Africa, looks at enhancing child nutrition and livelihoods of rural households in Malawi and Tanzania through post-harvest value chain technology improvements in groundnuts. Again, looking at the effects of aflatoxin on how it affects child nutrition and other rural households, and how we can reduce the aflatoxin effects. Theme 2 on biofortification has these 4 activities. Again, as I mentioned, all the 4 are supported by Harvest Plus. The first one is coordination of the biofortification research on grain and tuber crops. Again, you may be wondering why tuber crops. The grain also includes both cereals and legumes, because this is the joint program between Government of India and the Harvest Plus under the Harvest Plus India program. 2, looking at the partnership-based genetic enhancement of pearl millet for high iron content in India. Number 3 looks at genetically enhanced pearl millet with high iron density for improved human nutrition. Second one looks more at working with several of the partners, including the private sector. And the third looks more at the work that we do at ICRISAT. The fourth one looks at the macronutrients and vitamin A precursor dense sorghums for Western Central Africa and India. Theme 3 again has 4 research activities. Again, this is related to aflatoxin in groundnut. There are 4 activities in terms of promoting cost-effective diagnostic assays for aflatoxin, integrated pre- and post-harvest management strategies to mitigate aflatoxin contamination. Number 3, looking at factors influencing aflatoxin contamination. And then number 4, looking at developing a database of aflatoxin prevalence along the groundnut value chain and capacity building of the stakeholders. So those are the activities that we are involved, and as I said, a brief introduction for these. And any questions, as I said, I and Farid will try to respond.
Thank you, CLL. I know the day is getting shorter. I'm in daylight, so let's have, if there are questions, and I hope it's not about insects.
I think one of the consequences of agriculture intensification is the overuse of pesticides, and pesticide residues are a health problem. So I think if there is activity in this CRP on this issue, then ICRISAT may link at some stage to do the work on this one. ICRISAT has a long history of pesticide residues and working on this area, and also insect resistance to insecticides.
Farid, I don't think this was considered at any stage during the development of this particular CRP, but again, a valid point that you have made. Maybe during the evolution of the CRP, this could be included as one of the future activities. I don't think we could do it in the phase 1 of the CRP, but we could build up and add.
Eva?
Is there any provision or other activities on actually using food processing to improve bioavailability or digestibility of foods to have, of grains to have improved food?
Farid?
Not directly particularly in our region, but in Eastern Africa, they had some activities on that, but very limited. I think they have some funding, but not very sure if they have kept any activities now.
Eva, in the theme 1, there are possibilities that could be considered, but again, in the initial phases of the program, because of the way the program evolved, we have not been able to get it. Again, as I said, I am only a new entrant, so I don't have full knowledge on these, but could be considered.
I had mentioned to John this during the last meeting, and but I have not seen any action being made. So.
Mary, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Gowda. One of the themes that you indicated in this CRP is biofortification, and much of the work is being done in India and West Africa for sorghum. But for the work which is being done in India, I want to indicate that we would like to get the materials in Eastern and Southern Africa, especially for pearl millet. But then we are constrained by the fact that material movement from India to other parts of the world is a challenge. How will other regions be able to benefit from the products of the biofortification work?
In terms of the material that is available now or in the future, I think we can definitely provide all the breeding material that is generated at Patancheru to any other regions of ICRISAT. That should not be a problem. We have currently some issues in terms of material movement with the National Biodiversity Authority of India. We are working with ICR to resolve some of those, but in terms of practicality, I don't think it should be a problem once these issues are resolved.
Can we have that one, Bella, as the last one?
Will it be possible to expand the scope of this CG research program by including the animal nutrition, especially in the context of fodder quality?
I have no idea if that is feasible.
I thought in the dryland cereals you will see
This
there was an animal at the last.
This is mostly for human health. So, human nutrition. So, there is no other possibility apart from human nutrition and health.
I want us to do two things, so you'll have to clap twice. First of all, for CLL, for coming here twice.